Think about the modern family tree. For most of us, it's a neat set of branches mapping directly back to a specific mother and a specific father. But if we rewind 20,000 years to the Stone Age, half of that equation disappears. In early human tribes, maternity was an obvious, observed fact. Everyone saw exactly who gave birth to a child. Paternity, however, was often a tangled web of question marks. Given the social dynamics of early tribes, identifying one specific biological father for a child was frequently impossible. This creates a major biological hurdle. Human infants are born more helpless than almost any other mammal, requiring years of constant care and a massive surplus of food to survive into adulthood. Since the needs of a child far outweighed what any two individuals could provide, early humans survived by operating as a single, cohesive unit, where the responsibility for every child was shared by the entire group. The prehistoric world offered no margin for error. A child born into the Pleistocene was surrounded by freezing temperatures and active hunters like wolves and cave lions. A single pair of parents couldn't keep a child safe and well-fed simultaneously. One person couldn't forage for enough calories while the other provided 24-hour protection against predators. Instead, the tribe functioned as a collective shield. By pooling their labor, the group ensured that even if a specific father couldn't be identified, every child had the protection of every hunter in the camp. This cooperative structure relied on a clear division of tasks that benefited the whole group rather than individual households. Hunters specialized in tracking large game to secure high-density protein. They didn't just bring meat back for their own direct offspring, they brought it back for the tribe's communal fire. Gatherers focused on the reliable daily intake of plants and nuts, foraging while simultaneously managing and teaching the group's children. In this world, family wasn't defined by a marriage certificate or a biological test. It was defined by the shared daily effort to keep the next generation alive. Keeping those children alive required more than just food. It required the transfer of a massive amount of technical data. Adults spent years teaching the youth the specific mechanics of survival, from the precise angle needed to flake a flint spearhead to the subtle markers of a poisonous berry. Grandparents and elders served as the tribe's database. They used stories to preserve information about animal migration patterns and the signs of a coming drought. We think of parental love as a soft emotion, but it began as a survival technology, a biological drive to ensure that vital knowledge didn't die with the previous generation. After thousands of years of nomadic life, human groups began staying in one place, transitioning from tracking herds to planting crops. Farming required permanent shelters and the creation of boundaries. For the first time, land was divided into specific plots owned by specific people. Defending and farming these isolated plots made the large communal tribe less practical. People began to live in smaller, more self-contained units. Within these smaller units, the identity of the father became a central concern. He was no longer just one of many tribal protectors. He was the specific individual responsible for the labor and defense of a single home. As our environment changed from the open wild to the fenced-in farm, the role of the father became a practical necessity for maintaining the family's resources. Looking at these two families, separated by 20,000 years, the settings are different, but the core behavior is the same. Our ancestors may have defined the father's role differently, but the actual requirements of the job, provision, and protection have remained constant throughout human history. This means modern parental love isn't a recent cultural trend. It is one of our oldest survival strategies, refined over hundreds of generations in the harshest conditions imaginable. There is a direct line between an ancient hunter standing watch at the mouth of a cave and a modern parent checking the locks before bed. We survived as a species because we possess a deep-seated instinct to sacrifice our own comfort for the safety of a child. Every one of us is part of an unbroken chain of survivors that stretches all the way back to those first tribal fires. It's worth wondering, if you were stripped of your modern tools and dropped back into the Stone Age, could your family find that same raw resilience to survive? Because you are the living result of 20,000 years of parents who refused to give up.